Hello, good morning, students, second grade students of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Indonesia. My name is Trevino Pakasi. I am from the Department of Community Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia. And in this module, I also host you for the first time. We will do the forest healing, Universitas Indonesia. So this presentation will be outlined as the following: background, and then how we manage this activity, the forest healing, who are the staffs, and then how we prepare to implement the practice. The reason why we discuss and we practice forest healing because of the vision and mission of the Universitas Indonesia, that we would like to make a prosperous community, and for that reason our community must be healthy and smart. And then this is actually within the context of ASEAN University Network to make a healthy university. And also within the context of Green Matrix to keep our environment green. The following slides, I would like to explain why we choose the topic of forest healing. Again, within the context of medical ecology, we would like to explore more the interaction between your environment and your body, your physical and mind body. And then this is actually very close connected as we are also part of our own environment. Now, forest bathing or Shinrin Yoku means bathing forest energy. So the keyword is not only bathing but the energy. So we are inside the forest and we feel surrounding us the energy of the forest. The concept of forest bathing is to spend time in the forest. Of course, by spending this time, we would like to bath the energy of the forest by relaxing or doing small activities. And then this is actually will work as charging your battery. It's kind of this work for this forest bathing. And then another physician, also an immunologist at Nippon Medical School Hospital in Tokyo, Japan, um, he also explored more studying the forest environments on human health. And then as you see of his background as a physician, of course, he also um, yeah, would like to explore more in the side of the effect of the forest bathing to human's body, human's mind, and of course, at the end to the healthy of an individual. This is as an example of one publication by Dr. Lee. He found that forest bathing enhances human natural killer activity and the expression of anti-cancer proteins. So if you learn more in immunology, you will find this subset of immune system cells. The natural killer cell is under the subset of lymphocytes. And this the work of natural killer cell actually to find worse cell, bad cells, and then to kill the cells. So it won't happening make a problem in our body. And then one of these major problem is the cell that cannot obey to our commander. And then this is actually the cancer cells. Similar finding was also found in association with the cardiovascular disease risk. So this is another publication that actually the basic is just the same, connecting with the immune system and about the inflammation that's happening in a human body. In this slide, we can all read that forest bathing will reconnect humans with nature that has been far away. Forest bathing reconnect us by sharpening our five senses when we are in nature. But this also cannot be cannot happen only in one shot. You need to practice and more practicing your senses so you will be connected with the nature. It is actually our relationship in the past, our ancestors with our nature. They live very closely, and then the nature, I think, in the human being become very far now, uh, starting in the 21st century when technology is growing and growing. For example, uh, maybe you can still also find some tribes, ethnic groups, or maybe even your grandfather, grandmother can sense the weather, can sense even the situation, or maybe disaster, whatever, by looking at the nature, by looking at the migration of animals, for example. And then this sense is gradually become less and less because we are not connected with the nature. And then why we are not now connecting with the nature, because we trust more in our Google, in our gadget. We ask the weather to our gadget, what will happen in a few hours ahead or tomorrow. So this is why we are not competent enough to sense. And then by doing this forest bathing, we're actually trying to sharpen our senses so we can be like connected, well connected with our environment. Forest bathing activity will train our sense of seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, and even eating healthy food or natural food that are important in training our senses. Like this in the forest, you can see a nice scenery, green environment, and it is a very good stimulation for your eyes. As an explanation of the previous slide, we see this the study at Uppsala University that found stimulation of eye, seeing a nice picture about environment, nice green environment, will help to reduce the patient's pain and also will improve the health, the healthiness of the patients. In the forest, you can hear nice nature sounds like the breeze. You can hear the animals, the birds singing, and then it is actually already calming you. Again, the same with stimulation your eyes, a stimulation of your ear will also help to reduce your anxiety, reduce your um, yeah, your blood pressure, stress, etc. And then this is actually helping you to reach more benefit of being in the forest. This is the continuing of the study related with the heart rate variability, and it says that after meditation, like there is a slowing down of your heart rate, and then this is actually good for your heart if you can like calm and then not to stress more, like putting more effort for your heart to 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 uh, to beat. And it is not only by going to the forest, but you can also look at this picture. Going to the beach is also a nice experience when you can see and hear as well the sound of nature. If you, if you can imagine it, it is already make you calm. Imagine that yourself sitting like this, meditate and on the beach, and then listen, hear the sound, the voice of the wave, feel the breeze, look at the very nice blue ocean in front of you. It is already calming. There's also another study, yeah, to compare people living in the forest and the city, and then compare the heart rate. Yeah. So this study also doing mm, objective things, yeah, not only subjective measurement, and still uh, we can find consistent results that the forest and the nature helps reducing risk of cardiovascular disease. And then now another study about sense of smell. Another thing that why we do, or maybe a lot of study now doing for the forest bathing, because there are phytoncide produced by the plants, and then it works as antimicrobial organic compound. There is also an activity of this compound in our human body, in our cells, that inhibit tumors and suppress cells infected by viruses. This picture is showing, yeah, what kind of compounds that a plant produce, and then you may have this feeling also, this experience in Uis forest. Now we go further, continue to talk, discuss about the sense of touch. The picture is showing us that a person perhaps walking in the woods with barefoot. The more important is the barefoot as the keywords. We are a bioelectric beings, and then we live also in the electromagnetic planets. So by doing this, we actually trying to neutralize uh, our electricity. If we are too positive, then doing walking with barefoot will neutralize our positivity. Or if we are too negative, with two negative electrons, we trying to neutralize by walking with barefoot. And you know that sandals, shoe, all made from rubber can be an isolator, and then that's why we have to walk with barefoot to make to neutralize our electricity. This is also another proof about our electricity in our body, that how this actually can be neutralized by walking barefoot in the woods on earth that connect us directly to the earth and be neutralized. Further, if you look at this study and um, try to understand the findings, that grounding or walking with barefoot increases the surface charge of red blood cells. So in the previous slide, we read that our red blood cells is negative electricity, and then by grounding, it will increase the surface charge. And this is actually will beneficial for the viscosity of the blood, and then will reduce via the effect of too viscous blood in our blood vessels. The next sense to be trained is your sense of taste. By looking at this picture, you can already imagine that not only um, eating, but also if you look at the color, you can imagine that we train our sense of sight and our sense of taste together. And this is actually one of the training that we have to go to do in the forest bathing. I remember once I got an experience with my colleague in South Semarang. We did also forest bathing in that place, and the manager of the forest, he explained me so many plants and yeah, plants that or flowers that we can directly eat from the woods. So we did. Actually we did, I did. And also after the walking, um, we were also served by raw food, like we eat lalap, for example. It is raw food, but we can also try herbals, jamu. Also, it is directly fresh from the nature. So this is actually how to train the the sense of taste. And then this is another training as we go in the previous slides. The five senses should be trained and then to connect us, reconnect us to the nature. So at the end of the activity of the forest bathing, to train our sense of taste, we have to eat or drink something fresh from nature without any too many manipulation, cooking or heating or uh, freezing these nature products. And then this is actually will help yourself to train your sense of taste. It is already proven that living foods can reduce chronic inflammation. And then this food not only because of the source of uh, plant like vegetables or fruit, but this is because of the type is various, the color is various, and then this is actually in line with the what is what the vegetables contains or the fruit contains. And then this is actually all the antioxidants that we need to reduce chronic inflammation. And it is better to consume immediately from the nature when it was separated from the nature. Like you pick the fruit and directly eat it. There are studies about these cardiovascular biomarkers with in association um, with consuming natural products like these products, fruit, vegetables. It will help reducing the the disease markers. Now we have learned a little bit about forest bathing and how it it will affect our human body, our health, and also mind. And then you know that UI has the resource. Our forest in Depok is the only forest actually, and of course there is a need to conserve the the forest. However, there is a question about economic activity. So that means we have and we would like to conserve the forest, but how this can be also an economic activity. So talking about forest healing or forest bathing, we know this is a potential therapy for people with stress, and then they would like to healing. And then actually it has been implemented previously with our colleagues from the Faculty of Biology when they measured the effect of the forest bathing in the neutrophil and lymphocyte ratio. I forgot actually the study. And also by the Faculty of Psychology when they measured the effect of forest bathing to um, the mindfulness of a person. Yeah, to implement the forest healing or forest bathing practice, we will make three tracks. So the students will be divided into the different three tracks. So what will be the activity? At the first, before you enter the forest, doctor and nurses from the OE clinic will do check-up, yeah, like doing this blood pressure measuring and then measurement of your heart rate, your oxygen saturation, and then perhaps if we have time, we can also measure psychological parameters. And then we will do briefing. What will be the program inside? The program will be you will walk. There's a track that will be prepared for the walk, and then in the track there will be 4 to 5 interpretation posts. What is it actually? It is a place where you can sharpen your senses by looking your sight, by hearing, by touching, and there will be an assignment to touch the tree, big tree, even half the tree. So you will sharpen your senses, yeah. And then in one pose, we will give you place to meditate, to sit calmly, to feel the air, to hear. And then during the track, the 5 pose, we will rest. And then in this place, uh, I hope I hope we can provide you with herbal drinks. I hope I should find out how, because I don't know whether we provide jamu, for example, but we'll see whether we can provide jamu for you. So these herbal things will also help sharpen your taste bud. Rest and drink herbal drinks, and then we will move to uh, the last checkup. But the last checkup will be done while we are resting in the forest. Yeah, we cannot walk to the clinic and then being checked up there. Otherwise, because of the walking, your blood pressure will increase or the heart rate will increase. So after all this activity and these activities, we do hope that we'll finish in 30 minutes. Yeah, like this. Stretching, yeah, and then also looking at the nice environment, green, yeah. In one post, you will be asked to touch the tree, hug the tree. Even when I imagine that I'm hugging the tree, I can feel that my feeling is calm. When I'm imagining that I'm walking in the forest, I already feel that my heart rate is reduced. And also during this meditation, and then at the end, we rest and drink. I hope we can provide you with these herbal things. Jamu. So there will be people, doctor and nurses, instructor, forester, and the module team. Your instructor is your facilitator of the groups. Yeah, they will assist you. Yeah, in doing these activities. Yeah, in each pose, and then also in the last 2 posts when you have to meditate and also rest. So in contrary, we will also give you experience of exercising the vagal reflex. And uh, we will examine the difference between doing vagal reflex and walking in the forest. The end point is just the same, which is to reduce the cardiovascular risk by reducing your cardiovascular activity, reducing your blood pressure, reducing your heart rate, yeah. And then this is actually can be achieved by reducing your stress, walking in the forest. So if it works, then I think you will be interested to walk more and more again and again to the forest. And even you can do your imaginative walking, it will help already reducing your heart rate. So I will also ask my friends, foresters, to help doing this track, looking at the safety of the track. It's like there won't be any falling branch, yeah, or perhaps animals, or perhaps snake. Well, actually, snake is afraid of us. Yeah. We don't have to be afraid of snake. Snake is already afraid of us, and we are not their food actually. They cannot eat us, so we don't have to be afraid. But if they feel under under threat, if we are threatening the the, the snake will attack us. Yeah. So the best to do when you see animals, insect or snake or anything, which is I can assure you that I've been doing this walking in the forest and I've never seen one single snake. Yeah. The best thing is just stand still. Don't do anything. Yeah. Like if you have a big tawon, what is tawon in English? Bee, not bee, but bigger bee. Yeah. Flying surrounding you. Just stand still. Don't do. It will sting you. Yeah. And then the module team will help arranging all like doing the administrative things, preparing the security, preparing also the safety officers from OE to keep this student practice works well. So about the forest healing students practice, we of course we have to prepare first the forest by making 3 tracks and then make it sure that all the 3 tracks are safe for us, like doing the inventory of the animals, and then we avoid area with snakes of course, and then we had already looked at the big plants and whether it possess any problem like falling branches. So that kind of safety procedure that we already made for all of you. And then we put also the track and make the signboard and poles and also the questions to be interpreted for each student. And then we train also the facilitator. And then in the implementation, you will be divided into 6 groups. And there will be 2 different mainstream how we can uh, how we can observe the influence of forest bathing to your some of your physiologic measurements. So there will be 2 mainstreams, as I mentioned before. First, doing the forest trekking, and then the second one, doing the vagal exercise. Both exercise and trekking aim at reducing the blood pressure, reducing the frequency of heartbeat, and then at the end make it you calm actually with different pathways. So the 6 groups will be divided into two, consist of 3 groups. So the first three groups will go enter the forest, do the trekking, while the other doing the Faga reflex. And then we'll exchange after 30 minutes or so. And then at the end, after following all the procedure of forest bathing and all procedure of the Faga reflex, we put in the database and then we try to analyze the effect, whether it has same effect or maybe it has a better effect or whatever the result it is. But this is actually combining what you have learned from this module and from also from other module as well. And I hope this is actually a very comprehensive experience for all of you. And maybe if the result is not as favorable as what you like to see, then you try to explain yourself. Like if you find in general there's no effect of the forest bathing to reduce heart rate or to reduce the blood pressure, and then you can look at one by one who amongst you that do not becoming relaxed in the forest, like the blood pressure is still high or even higher. So that's kind of activity that we will do after the forest healing, after the practice, and then we try to analyze the result. And I think it will be very fun. This is a little bit about forest bathing and also about the practice. Further about the practice, you will see in the practice guide. And then if you have more questions or if you have some inquiry of if you are afraid of something in the forest, please let me or let other facilitators know before doing the forest bathing. But of course, it will be a very nice experience. It will be a very uh, calming situation, yeah, especially after this practice. And then you will do other activities in the morning, very early morning, like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. It will be a very nice time. Thank you very much and enjoy the